Today on Capstone Talent Talks, Ollie and I are joined by Stefan Riedmann from BCS Consultancy, who's an Associate Director and Head of Service on the project management side, delivering large-scale critical infrastructure programs, principally in the data center side, having previously worked in healthcare and moving into the sector more latterly. Stefan, thank you so much for joining us. And I should say that you're based in Frankfurt.
Yes, you're right. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
I'm based in Frankfurt in Germany, originally from Austria. So I moved here about 2.5 years ago, which coincides with the time where I got into the DC industry as well. So still relatively new to the industry compared to some of my peers. But since it's rapidly growing and rapidly changing, there is an influx of new people that you see everywhere. That's definitely great to be here.
Oh, it's lovely to have you. So Stefan, maybe we always start off with you giving us an overview of your career, how you ended up within the data center sector and what your experiences have been. But it's really good to understand what underpins your journey. So because you came from a civil engineering education background, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So I studied, first I did the engineering school back in Innsbruck, where I'm from. Then I studied civil engineering at the University of Vienna. I have to say I never worked a day in civil engineering, thankfully to me and everyone that would have stepped the foot inside the building that I designed. So after university, I went straight into project management, starting in the healthcare sector. Where I did a few hospital projects in and around Vienna. Then I had a brief stint in residential real estate, old rooftop expansion projects within the city of Vienna. And then via went into logistics and industrial real estate. And as stated before, about 2.5 years ago, I made the venture into the DC industry.
So in terms of your education there, Stefan, so you obviously had quite a technical foundation in terms of, civil engineering and so on. And so then moving into that area just wasn't for you. You were thinking, well, actually, no, I've sort of gone through that pathway through, my education, but actually, I guess now that I've experienced what that might look like, I want to just focus that in a slightly different direction. Is that fair? How did that initial kind of transition into project management come about rather than diving straight into the civil engineering world?
So definitely during university times, I found out that I was, say, mathematically challenged a little bit, and I started working part-time in the project management consultancy. And I saw that was definitely more akin to what I wanted to do in the long term. And so during my university times, when I was first working, first as an intern, then part-time, then took full-time position there and studied part-time, and then just somehow ended up in the project management work. And to be honest, pretty happy there. I think I'm looking back at 10 years of experience within that industry. And so far, I'm still liking it. So far, I don't miss doing any calcs or any structural design. So definitely that's going to be the way ahead for me as well.
Less maths.
Less maths, definitely. More working with people, less working with spreadsheets.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm married to a civil engineer, so I get the maths element. The pages are this long of the calculations, so I understand. So Stefan, talk to us about your current role and the projects that you're involved with as much as you can, and a bit about the data center market in Germany. Are all of your projects Germany based? That's an assumption there, but
yes, I'm leading for BCS Consultancy the DACH region. So we have projects in Germany and in Austria, and have recently won a bit of work in Switzerland. So I'm looking at the, say, German-speaking market within Europe. and about BCS. So I started with the company 2 years ago, like almost to the day today. Started as a senior consultant, project manager, and then worked my way up to become a team lead, now becoming the associate director, leading the whole region, the project management side of our business. And it's just an amazing experience so far. So I really like my job there. I really like the colleagues that I have there. And it's amazing things that we did in those 2 years, because when I started, I was employee number 60 or something, and now we have 160 people. It's just amazing. Tremendous growth globally, so to say. And that's what I like about this industry. Still pretty new. You see so much change, so much excitement, so much things that are happening at the same time. It's really a great experience to be.
And presumably, I suppose, you know, given that growth, 60 to 160, and, you know, over that past couple of years, have you had a part in that yourself with regards to kind of building some of the team in Germany as well?
Yeah, definitely. So there was I think from the beginning when I started at BCS, the idea of the masterminds above me to grow the region and to grow myself within the region, and to take on this leadership role. And so I supported, I think, from day one on the expansion of the team. I think as well in the DACH region, we started off with like 7 or 8 people and are now close to 40. So there's
brilliant.
Still a lot to go, and still growing, still needing new faces, new people. But I think that's what we are talking about today as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you're from a project management perspective, are you involved with the construction and the structure side of things as well as the fit out, or do you have a bias when you're working on these projects?
So we're doing the projects from the project inception, I would say. At BCS, we call it a full life cycle of land acquisition, doing the master planning, doing the design phases, construction phases, fit out phases, until we hand it over to the operations teams. And then later on, doing any expansion, doing any end of life equipment change. I focus more on the hyperscale side of things, where I take projects from when they have a master plan and the feasibility done until they're being built, until they are being put into motion, until they're fitted out. It's what I specialize in.
Right. And particular locations across the region, are there particular challenges or nuances that that you can share with us?
Yeah, of course, it's very different, say, challenges that we have. The markets that we see, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, they're very fragmented, I would say. You have legislation on a federal level. So no project in Frankfurt is gonna be the same as a project like 40 kilometers outside of Frankfurt, because it's in a different region with different legal basis and different permitting approaches. There's of course issues that they have within the whole region, within the whole countries, power constraints, land constraints, and still you don't get the people, you don't get the resource, don't get the power to build. But once that is solved, it's going into the nitty-gritty of who is the right person to contact at which permitting office and how do you approach them. And that's, I think, it's very, very exciting, because without that, every project would be the same.
Yeah. And
construction industry is still very, very fragmented, very differentiated. So every project has their own challenges and their own opportunities, of course.
So have you found so have you found your network now across Germany has just got sort of bigger and bigger? There's now more people that you've got to be involved with on a given project as part of that.
Yeah, definitely. Since I've spent the first say 7 years of my career based in Vienna and built up my network there. I was in various niche fields as well, in healthcare facilities fields, in the industrial logistics field. So I have my network there, and since moving to Frankfurt, to a new city, moving into a new sector, I built up my network, say from the ground up. Let's say the data center sector at least is very accommodating industry. There's a lot of networking events happening. People are filtering in and out, and are very open and keen to build and grow something together.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a good way, and built up a huge network here in the Frankfurt region and all over Germany, basically, of like-minded people. It's really nice to see.
Yeah, as a sector, we find that as well. Everyone is super generous with their time and their introductions and the conversation and the knowledge sharing. We've loved that. It's an important part.
And so in terms of you're building these teams and I guess from your own experience, when you came from the kind of healthcare side of things, very technical, I guess probably quite M&E led and things like that translate quite well into the data center world. When you've been bringing new people in and so on and so forth, have you found that there's maybe actually, aside from the technical piece for a moment, other skills or sort of cross-disciplinary skill sets or capabilities that you find are really beneficial to the DC sector? If you're looking to try and bring a couple of extra people in for a project or in a location, is there anything that in particular that you're looking for in those people? I mean, maybe sort of from a technical perspective, sure, but then outside of that you look for in particular?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the whole industry has made a shift in mindset in the last few years, because I think just 3-4 years ago, everyone was very adamant that new project managers that they bring in must have the experience in the data center sector, very strict. And now it becomes more open, since we don't have the resource anymore and we don't have the people anymore. Industry has to open up. And what we are doing at BCS is definitely we are looking at the people as a package and potential joiners to our business. I look more into the soft skill side. I look more into what's the right attitudes that this person has. Does he or she bring the right mindset to deliver projects in this exciting but challenging environment, and don't necessarily need to have the technical experience. I think we as BCS, we are in a very good position, since we are specialized solely on data centers and critical infrastructure. That everyone that is in our business, or that has spent 6 months, 12 months, or what time in our business, is going to be a data center expert. There's so much experience in that particular sector that new joiners just soak up like a sponge during the first months. That the technical knowledge isn't really a deal breaker. It's all, in the end, we're a people business, and project management is, you need to take care of the people we work with. You need to manage your stakeholders, your expectations, and if you have the right mindset and the right attitude around this, technical knowledge, we'll find some specialists that can help out for it.
And have you found, or rather, I suppose, what have you found to be the biggest challenges around talent at BCS Consultancy?
Biggest challenge, I would say, is that the market's still very high demand. The market has still a very high demand here in Frankfurt. So the talent pool in and around Frankfurt is empty. Yeah. So people are looking, and we are looking to expand our regional footprint in other locations. Like Berlin is going to be the next hotspot. Right. So we're akin to hiring people in Berlin that we need for projects in Frankfurt, because they can support the pre-construction stages easily without much travel. Yeah. And then trying to grow the team around that and around the future markets that we see pop up.
So I suppose it's having the open mind on those people that you're bringing into the team based around their mindset and their attitude, and actually what they're bringing to the table beyond the technical side for a moment, and actually just more from the ability to kind of work with stakeholders and so on, and work with the team. But actually it's also the challenge of the speed, so there's a sense of, actually, because of the demand in the market, you would probably like to take a little bit longer, perhaps, to kind of, you know, look and find the right people necessarily, you know, perhaps, but actually you've got to move quite quickly. And so is that possibly more the challenging part of it at the moment? Is there's an awful lot you've got going on, let's say in Berlin at the moment, and so actually you just got to find the right people tomorrow. Is that more of the challenge?
That's definitely a challenge, finding the right people in a short amount of time. But we are very, very picky with who we work with who we hire. And before we hire someone, like some companies do, just be a bum on a seat on a new project that we're about to win. We'd rather not win the work. So we'd rather turn down our clients if we don't find the right people for our business and for their commission. And thankfully, we're still in a very good position that we can do that without losing too much of our business. And that's definitely something that we want to continue in the future as well, if the market allows us.
Is how you're able to maintain the standards and the reputation that you've obviously worked so hard to garner. And what about emerging markets or emerging talent pools that you are really excited about in the coming years? Is there a particular focus or niche that you guys are looking to attract from a talent perspective, or are there particular obviously we've spoken about Berlin, are there other particular niche areas that you're excited about, Stefan?
Yeah, definitely. So we just opened up an office in Warsaw a few months ago, and we definitely want to grow the team over there, because we know Poland, they have great high quality of university students, high quality of engineering staff there, and we want to tap into talent pool. And from Poland to Berlin is just a few hours driving. So we want to use the office in Warsaw once it grows to be like a back of house for the projects that we have in Germany, that we have in Austria, where we can't find the local talent. And it's always our approach to blend the right amount of global expertise that will come from, be it the UK, be it Poland, be it somewhere else, and local people that can be the boots on the ground that you need to have in construction. And I'm really excited because we just started this process of growing into emerging markets, dipping our toes in the water, and I'm really excited to see where it's going to head over the next months or years.
And in terms of how things are evolving, you know, within the industry at the moment, and that pace and the scale at which things are evolving, in terms of, I guess that can affect people that are already working within the data center world just because of the speed of it. But equally, those people that want to maybe get into the data center industry, and we've talked a bit about mindset and so on and so forth. But in terms of how either people that are established in the industry might need to kind of adapt, but equally those kind of entering the industry, adapting to step foot into that landscape. Is there any sort of thoughts in and around that you're kind of seeing, or because you kind of know what's coming down the track, you're thinking actually if there's people that are doing X, Y, and Z at the moment, that's going to serve them really well, you know, 3 to 5 years down the line, for example?
I think that's a good question. I think we as an industry, we started the process of opening up to new talent. And I think a lot of the people that I have been in the industry for 15, 20 years are starting to also open up and accept new ideas, accept new people. And that's definitely something that the whole industry is going to benefit from. And I think for young people that are looking to get into the data center industry, I think there's two perspectives to look at. We as a sector, we need to become more visible to those young people, to those university graduates, to those people working on the ground, be it as electricians or as mechanical engineers, and people that are working down there, they definitely need to pick up the soft skills needed to adapt in this world, because we see the world of work is changing. everyone talking about AI and how that will change the job space and how they will change any office job, basically. So people that are faster to adapt to this new reality will definitely benefit from it in the long term. So my advice would be to have an open mind and to embrace new technology, embrace new ways of thinking. That's never gonna.
I mean, that's only going to become more and more important, because it's, technology's never evolved as quickly, and it will probably never evolve as slowly, as it is now. So the kind of corkscrew's getting tighter, isn't it? And is there anything in particular that you're doing at BCS Consultancy to tackle the future skills and future talent shortage, apart from being open-minded, which is absolutely vital? But do you have any involvement with talent pipeline at university level or at school level, or particular industries that you're looking to attract talent from?
Yeah, so BCS has since a few years now a very good running apprenticeship scheme, and a very good apprentice graduate scheme where young people from university join the business during their last year in university. And I think they're working with a few universities in around London, and we want to roll out the same system to all our office locations in Germany and the rest of Europe as well. And one scheme in particular that they're very fond of is the athlete conversion scheme that BCS launched a few years ago, where they take an influx of people, former athletes that are at the end of their athletic career, be it by injury or by just getting to the ripe age of 30, and giving them a second chance. In sports terms, at least, and giving them a second chance at a corporate career, bringing those people in. And if you ask, that's like forward thinking. What I said previously, it's all about the mindset. So our CEO is very keen on that scheme, because he said someone that can train every day during summer, wind and rain, and get to this high performance athletic accomplishments is a person that you can teach anything in just the shortest amount of time, and they will have the mindset to push through and get things done.
That's really interesting. And is that how you got in? No, I'm joking.
Unfortunately, no.
Has that had are there some good examples of that being a success?
Yes, a few people that came in that had basically no prior training, and then just within months, within half a year, they're very accomplished project managers on projects, cost managers. We have some in our back office. Our new head of marketing, Anna Rantala, came through that scheme.
Oh,
and she's
really?
Already,
okay.
Yeah, and she's been
I
in the
loved
business.
her rebranding. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's with the business now, I think, for a few months, and she already did this amazing rebrand and setting out new quality standards for everyone in the business to aspire to. So it's inspiring, really.
That's amazing. Well, if you think about, I suppose, the sports person's mindset, it's about marginal gains, and it's just that consistency and following a process and constantly evaluating the impact of tweaks, and that's fantastic that's been such a success. I can't believe that she's only been there a few months and she's done that incredible rebrand. That's amazing. Well, that's really good. And also, I suppose, nice from a cultural perspective within an organization that you have a diverse background and diverse thoughts that are kind of coming to the table.
Yeah, that as well. And I think coming from different backgrounds, not just what the education is or universities or how you got into the business, but also it's very diverse culturally. We have all kinds of different nationalities working in our offices. So I don't know how many languages spoken on a day-by-day basis. It's really great to work in this environment. You get a different viewpoint from different people. You learn something from each other, and that's beneficial, I think, for everyone involved.
You just want to choose carefully. If you ever do a team building exercise where, you know, someone thinks a certain sport's a good idea and they think, oh, hang on, we don't want it to be too unfair.
Well, make sure you're on the
Yeah.
team with the athletes.
Make sure you're on their team.
You need to be on the right team, yeah.
And so moving forward, Stefan, is just as you kind of, you know, we talked about the pace of change with everything at the moment, and over the next, you know, few years, it's just going to increase and increase. In terms of what you're excited about, I know there's different locations and things like that. Is there anything sort of beyond that at the moment that you're kind of thinking, because you've got maybe a little bit of a bit of foresight compared to where we sit, that you're sort of looking ahead and thinking this is going to be incredible in the next sort of few years? If you think this is amazing where we are now, you know, is there anything like that you're excited about in particular, that, again, talking about attracting new people into the sector, that you might just give a bit of a sense of, you know, yes, this is already a pretty interesting, exciting place to be, but you know, there's more to come?
Yeah, I think the most exciting bit about working in this industry is that no one knows where we will be in 5 years. It's just a lot of uncertainty, and I think we're in a very
figure in the air, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, with a very interesting position we are right now. I think we're at multiple crossroads that the industry is at the same time. We have this tremendous growth trajectory that's just going up and up and up. On the other hand, we have a shortage of skill. We have a shortage of material, supply chain crunches. So how are we going to manage that? And that's going to be a very demanding, very interesting job over the next years. On the other hand, we have the power constraint mentioned before. I mean, these AI new technologies that we are embracing is now using more and more energy, and the local supply, the local grid can't really keep up with that energy. So what are we doing? Is there going to be technological advancements? We're going to become more reliant on new technologies, or are we diverting back from the sustainability goals? Are we going back to using more fossil fuels just to bridge the gap until we have some technology? Very exciting times, and we as an industry, I mean, we have been at the forefront of embracing sustainable and renewable energy, and I hope this trend will keep up. I'm not 100% sure how we will manage to do that, but that, I think, is the exciting part, because everyone in the industry currently plays their role in making this future just marginally better with every project that we put out there.
It's cutting edge. It's cutting edge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything that you're involved with is cutting edge, and everything that you're trying to put in place is just the foundation for all of the digital world that we're all involved with now. And if it's not being done, you know, by yourselves, it actually, that's where the change is coming. And so it's just so interesting. And I think, again, for younger people coming in, that some of that excitement in and around the sustainability piece, and actually how, you know, you're kind of at the vanguard of how things are being done within the built environment more broadly, and all of these things start to make, you know, these incremental changes that are from a sustainability perspective as well. Not only are you able to put in place actually all of the technical elements that are actually supporting this digital evolution, but also actually, you know, doing a bit for the local area as well, which I think is quite interesting. It's not a challenge, not such an extreme challenge that so many other people are finding, I would say, at the moment, that they can be involved with.
Yep. I mean, definitely as an industry, we are a bit shy of the public eye, or have been up to this point, but I think we can't keep that up. So we need to embrace that, become more open, become more visible, because if you go around Frankfurt by car, you see all these big warehouses with no windows. You see all these data centers. They are there already. They are present, and the demand is growing. We need to have more. We need to have them closer to the communities which they serve. We need to implement or get them into the communities. Use the heat, the waste heat. Get the fast, reliable data connection to everyone that needs it, and allow for these technological advancements that we are all using daily. And that's, I think, it's very interesting approach, being at the very forefront of any technological advancement that we are seeing, because they won't happen without any data centers.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? And I suppose, and that necessity, is going to drive innovation much more than anything else, and there's an element of, yes, making data centers more visible. And I was interested to understand, because in the UK certainly, and probably most markets, there's a big visibility issue, but I wondered if that was different in Germany, but by the sounds of it, it's not, or certainly across your region, that there is still that issue. But I think that the generation of workers coming through value legacy and sustainability so much more than certainly, older generations. And therefore that's an interesting way of attracting talent into the sector, I would argue. And I would imagine that in Germany, where you've been so at the forefront of green initiatives, I would imagine that that's a big pull for people coming into the data center world. If we tell people that's what if people are aware that that's what it's about, it's not a drain on the resources. Actually, there's so much innovation around sustainability that it can encourage.
Yeah, I think it's all about the framing in the public eye. Up until now, if the industry is very secretive, of course, who writes the headlines in the paper? It's going to be something negative. There is this big building coming, it uses all the water, it uses all the energy, and it just burns carbon with its diesel generators. And then people are going to be against. But if we, as an industry, go out there and say, like, okay, we are enabling future of any sustainable technology, of any digitalization that is still about to happen, and Germany is probably a very good example, because the country is very innovative, but the digitalization is still very far behind, like peer countries. And there's still so much to do, and there's still so much capacity that needs to be built for that to be enabled.
It's like we were saying before, actually within the data center industry, there's so many great communities and networking, and people are very open to kind of, helping each other and sharing information and things like that. And I guess it's brilliant that we're all really good at that within the industry. We just need to then try and amplify that beyond and out. And I think there's inroads being made on that. Actually, there's some of the large companies there seem to, they're slowly kind of opening that door a bit to the public and giving a bit more access. It's just that just need to have a bit more of that, I think, don't we, so that it does become far more visible, so much more understood by the wider public. And then, from a talent perspective, as a career path, it seems, like it's right up there in people's consideration, because frankly, they just know a bit more about it.
Yeah, it's about getting the word out, and there is a lot of great initiatives. Like I'm a really big fan of the Gen+1 event series, and what Richard and Holly are building there is just amazing, bringing all the youngsters in the industry together. And I think they're also helping opening up the conversation, because those young people that are just started, that just came fresh from university, came fresh out of their apprenticeship, they are going to talk to their peers.
Yeah.
And that's how we get the word out, how we get the ball rolling. And then they go to one of the great events that Richard is hosting. And then they are very convinced that this is an industry where you work hard, where you can deliver purpose, and where you can also have a great time, and where people have fun in general.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you've got to, as an industry, if we have that there's so much opportunity for collective impact. And with the likes of Gen+1, they're doing incredible work. So, yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that one. I suppose I've got a broader question around careers and influences, because I'm a big believer that there are major influential moments or people in someone's career that helps kind of navigate a particular direction or pivot. Have you had a moment that stands out to you, or a person that stands out to you in terms of influencing your career? And I'm interested to know how that impacts you on an ongoing basis.
I I think thinking back, the first discussion I ever had with BCS, which was about 1.5 years before I joined,
Really?
with Chris Card and Alex Mariage, was just a very nice discussion that we had. It didn't feel like an interview. In the end, we didn't come to a conclusion. I was still back in Vienna that day, but I brought my attention to the data center industry, and it always had it like in the back of my head. But in Vienna at the moment, or no, 4 years ago, nothing much was happening. And so when I decided to move abroad and do something international, by chance, I got the opportunity to come into the sector, because I was working back then with a different consultancy in Vienna, and I said, I spent 12 years in the city, I'm looking for something new. And I could envision myself already sipping a cocktail at the beach of Barcelona, or working in a barrio in Bogota. But somehow I ended up in Frankfurt in the data center industry.
Baby steps, baby steps.
Baby steps, yeah. But this perchance of me moving here and just taking a step was definitely one of the best decisions I made for my career. And then just staying in touch through the connections that I made opened it up the opportunity to join BCS in Frankfurt then 1.5 years later. So it's definitely every perchance opportunity that we can have, or any discussion that we have in one of the events, can be career or life altering. So again, advice to the people out there is just grab the good luck if you find it, and just take a chance once in a while.
I love that, and that's certainly something that, because we've got a mentoring program at Capstone, and I'm just getting the second cohort, because we are such firm believers that you have to build your network as early as possible, and just be open to those moments. You know, you might not be, desperate in that moment to leave or to do anything, but actually just being open to conversations and meetings, like you were saying, it kind of sows the seed subliminally, and amazing things can come of that. Yeah. So I think more generally, by the way, we've got a couple of really good connections in Frankfurt that we should connect you with. You may well know them already. We've got Nobile Nombella. You know her? She's just moved from RLB to Mace. She's one of our mentors, and she's fantastic. And Franzi Marshall, who works with Bureau 4, she's German actually, but she's based in London, but she's going to be doing a fair amount of work over in Frankfurt as well. And they're great people to know. So we'll link you up at some point as well. But I really enjoyed that conversation. Thank you so much for being so open and sharing all of your insights, and there's a lot for people to take from that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Stefan. That was that's brilliant. It's really good, I think, for you to be able to share, your journey and thoughts. You're on the ground, in it at the moment. To be able to share that with everybody else is brilliant. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you again for inviting me, for giving the opportunity. And I think if there's one young people that's on accident listening to this podcast and thinks, wow, I need to go into the data center industry afterwards, it has been worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Super. That's brilliant. Thank you, Stefan. I appreciate that.